I'm here now asking to inspect
I'm
it.
gonna have to find out from our legal.
You know that people are allowed to inspect records.
I've read that. I don't know how anybody makes that happen without redacting it.
There's rules set in place for people to promptly get information. Those rules aren't being followed. You're telling me that the records department doesn't have a 2-year-old record.
It's not within records.
Have you ever wondered how police can get away with so much corruption? They use dash cameras and body cameras and still elude transparency and accountability. How do they get away with it? Today we explore what is supposed to be the check and balance that prevents the government secrecy, the Public Records Department. This video is a Jim Freedom original video and was edited from a 2-hour live stream I did at the Gilbert Police Department. To quickly catch you up on what it is I'm requesting before the video begins, 2 years ago, the YouTube channels Direct D, Tempe Against Police Violence, and King George Wallen went to see the Tempe City prosecutor, Vanessa Lasico. That Tempe, Arizona prosecutor called a detective friend in Gilbert, Arizona to get him to arrest them for harassment. A report was generated, a misdemeanor charge that never made it to a courtroom for arraignment. Arizona Revised Statute, Title 13-107, Time Limitations, also known as Statute of Limitations, misdemeanor, 1 year. There is no good reason that this 2-year-old file shouldn't be sitting in the system archived, waiting to be viewed. Let's see what happens.
Okay, what's up everybody? Heading into the Gilbert Police Department to get some records they don't want to give me for some reason. We're going in today after some records. I was in here a little bit earlier and I tried to inspect a document and they're giving me the runaround. They're telling me all kinds of stuff. They're telling me that they can't get it to me basically. And this record that I'm after is 2 years old. So there's no reason why it shouldn't be available. Somebody's at the... They're probably happy to see me. Get a drink of water while they're at the records department. Somebody at the counter. I'm gonna go ahead and get a drink of water.
Hi.
Is there a water fountain anywhere around?
Let me think. Public? I'm trying to think. There's one in the court. We don't have. Oh, we do. It's not a fountain though. That's why.
Oh.
We have water in the corner with cups.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
And just the other day, the union and other cities,
Get one drink. All right. See what happens. I just got off the phone with my lawyer, and there's somebody's making a mistake somewhere. We got to figure out who's making the mistake because it has to be available. It's a 2-year-old record. Even if the investigation was open, there's no way it can legally be held open indefinitely. What would be to stop you guys from just making me wait another 2 years? There's rules set in place for people to promptly get information. Those rules aren't being followed, obviously. No, I didn't end up talking to an officer. I talked to the supervisor, and all she basically told me was that you don't have it. Same thing you were basically telling me. And my lawyer is saying that's impossible. You have access to it. You put the number in, and you were able to get some information about it. So you have access to it. You just, for some reason, somebody along the line is not allowing it to be released to the public, and we need to find out who's making that decision and why, because it legally should be allowed to be released. 2 years old, never even got arraigned. It's a misdemeanor case. It's impossible for it not to be available.
Pay attention to how often these employees don't know things they absolutely should know.
They're getting a supervisor. What do you guys think so far? They're getting a supervisor. Probably the same supervisor I talked to a little bit ago. Somebody else is at the counter now being helped. I had to sit down. Basically what's happening here, just so you guys can be aware watching the stream, I'm asking for a record that's 2 years old. There's no way that a 2-year-old report isn't available to be inspected by the public. But that's their story. They're claiming that it's unavailable to be seen by me. Oh, hello. Like I was telling her, I got off the phone with my lawyer. They're saying that there's just no way it's not available. Like, You guys do have access. You can punch this number into your computer. I don't know who it is that's not allowing this to be released to the public, but my lawyer is making it pretty clear that according to the law, these records need to be made available to the public, and I'm here to inspect that. If you could find out who it is that's trying not to let it be released, or
I don't.
get a hold of a higher up, get a hold of the
It is
chief, get a
literally
hold of...
not, we don't have it. I don't know how, I don't know who to get you to get it. I don't know.
You're the supervisor, right? You're the top of the food chain here in the records department?
Generally speaking.
How can you not explain what's going on? How do you not know what's going on with your own records?
They're not my records.
The records that you're charged with keeping organized and prepared. It's in all of the departments. It's in all of the systems you have access to. You can pull this number up and see it, and then you can see the notes that it's not ready for release yet, right? Right.
I have access to it.
Who is it? Who is it that's preventing it from being released? How is the detective stopping you, the records department, from giving me a record that's 2 years old? An officer can't just indefinitely never give any information.
How do you know that?
What do you mean?
How do you know that he can't stop me from giving it to you?
Because
I
you're
literally
the
don't have
records
access
department.
to it. I literally.
You just
do not
said you do have access to it. You just said you can put it in and see the report and see that it's
the
not
number
releasable.
And that it's not releasable. I'm not sure what part of that is not explainable to you. I don't have access to the report. I literally don't have access to the report.
You have access to, you can pull this number up and see it, and then you can see the notes that it's not ready for release yet, right? Right.
We don't have access here to the report. It's still an active case. Now, whether you believe that or not.
I don't believe that. I think that's a lie, because you are the
You're
records
calling me a
department. I'm saying that I feel like I'm being lied to.
Not by me, though.
You're telling me that the records department doesn't have a 2-year-old record.
It's not within records.
What
I
would,
don't have
if the
access
law
to
if the
release
law
it.
didn't force you guys to have this stuff ready, what would stop you from just making me wait another 2 years and just continually saying, "Oh, sorry, it's not ready. We don't have it. What do you want me to do?" That's not a legally sufficient answer. You have to give me if a document is going to be withheld because it could damage personal parties that are involved in the case, things like that. There's legal reasons why you can deny a request, but I don't know and we don't have it isn't one of them. That's not a legally sufficient reason to say we don't have records.
Legally sufficient reason, but it's the only one I got because I can't access it.
And you're telling me that Detective Hernandez is the person responsible for not being able to give it to me right now.
He's the one that says he's the one that says he's working on the case and that it hasn't been.
Is he the one that wrote down this is not releasable yet? Is it by his authority, quote unquote, that it's not being released? I need to find out who is in trouble here.
I believe it comes down from the chief.
From the chief. The chief.
On something like this, it would require the chief to sign off.
Does the chief sign off on everything and say this is ready for public view?
No, just the ones that can't be released.
And there's no reason on file or anything you can tell me as to why it can't be released. That's not in itself enough to. If it's an ongoing investigation and releasing the information would damage parties, then that's you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not telling me that. You're just telling me it's open. Sorry about your luck. You're not telling me it's open, and if we release it, this would happen, and that's why we can't release it. You're not telling me any of that.
I don't have that information. I don't have that information. All I know is it's not releasable.
Okay.
That's what I have.
All right.
No.
And as a record specialist, aren't those things you should know?
We give out reports that we can give out. We transfer reports to agencies that they may go to. That's what I do. I don't interpret anything.
Can you understand my perspective, how 2 years later telling me it's simply not available and you don't know why, how that can be effectively denying me the records?
What you're watching right now is how police get away with their unethical actions. They are the front line to transparency, and this is how they act. Denying public records through indefinite shoulder shrugging and genuine ignorance of their duties.
See what we can get.
I just see that your request for this report came in yesterday.
Correct. For a request for the copy of it came in yesterday, but I was coming in today to inspect it. because we should be able to
Well,
inspect it.
we haven't sent it out to, so I don't have that paper yet. It hasn't been denied yet.
My request?
We gotta send it to the officer, and then he'll send us the paperwork saying why it can't be released.
Well, well, that's separate issue from wanting to inspect it. Like,
Well,
I
I
came
mean,
in,
it really isn't, because in order to inspect it, I've got to be able to redact it.
and as I explained to them earlier, I'm willing to sit here and wait for you to print it out, do the redactions you think are legally necessary, and then let me inspect it as per the law.
Right, and that can't happen until it goes up.
Until what goes up?
Your request.
The request for copies.
Right.
The request for inspection is an entirely separate issue.
Well, I don't know about inspection, other than I know I have to have it in order to redact it, and it's not available.
You keep saying it's not available. You're meaning that they're not allowing it to be released, but you have it accessible. You can access it.
No, I can't. That's what I'm telling you. It's still being investigated. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to send it to the detective, and the detective is going to either release it with the redactions that he needs to make, or he's going to send me a paper that says why he can't release it yet. Until I get that paper, I won't be able to tell you why we can't release it.
He can't just, the officers don't just hold on to reports until somebody requests them and then they give it to the records department. That's not how that works.
I know that.
Well,
The problem here is how this public servant won't take the time to find out why a 2-year-old record isn't available. She refuses to acknowledge that it should be available due to the facts that it's 2 years old and has a 1-year statute of limitations. The only logical conclusion is that she cares more about helping police hide stuff than she does about providing the public requested documents to inspect. In other words, her job.
you just literally told me that that's what you have to wait on. This
Right.
was
It's
2
an
years
ongoing
ago.
investigation.
It was
It's an ongoing
2
investigation.
years
I don't know
ago.
what
It's
else
not
to say.
ongoing investigation.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
From 2 years ago,
I
there was
don't-
never an arraignment. It was a
what does
misdemeanor
the
charge.
time frame have to do with anything?
That you can't just hold on to stuff for 2 years.
What does the time frame have to do with anything?
Because it's so old, it should be here and available to
If
inspect.
he's still investigating it, what does the time frame have to do with anything?
It should still be available to inspect.
I don't know anything about inspection.
And,
I know what you're telling me, but I don't know what to
so
do
you
about
should
that.
be able to get, because you know that people are allowed to inspect
I've
records.
read that. I don't know how anybody makes that happen without redacting it.
You know
That's
that
the
it's in the
statute.
law, but
Well, the statute also says that we've got to be able to redact it, and it's not available for me to redact.
blowing my mind here. A report that's 2 years old isn't available. The inspection, I'm asking to inspect it. It's the same as getting copies of it. You're saying you have to send that to him and find out from him why he's not releasing it. I'm here to inspect it. Could you please contact that officer and find out why he can't send it to you for me to inspect it?
No,
I need a reason. I need a reason why I'm not allowed to inspect it.
it's not available.
But why is it not available? That's what I'm saying. You a minute ago you were going to go try to find out why it's not available, and
I thought that this was something you've been waiting on for a while. It's not. It hasn't had a chance to go up there and come back with the information.
I'm requesting to inspect the document. It's not supposed to go anywhere and wait for approval. Public records and other matters in the custody of any officer shall be open to inspection by any person at all times during office hours. But she has no idea how to do that.
how would you handle somebody that's trying to inspect it?
Never had anybody come in and ask me.
I'm here now asking to inspect
I'm
it.
gonna have to find out from our legal person
Find what out? Why it's not?
how to go about doing that. I don't know.
You don't know how
I've never
to,
had.
but it is in your law, and you do understand that it's there. You understand that you're supposed to do
I've
that.
read it. Well, I don't know when it says. I don't know what the interpretation of that law is. I think everybody would have a different interpretation of that law.
It's pretty clear. Any person at any time during open office business hours. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm here
but
now.
I still have to redact it, and I don't have access to it. So I
Right.
don't know.
So what we need to do now then, if possible, is I'm here requesting it. As the law says, I'm allowed to inspect it. We're going to start this journey right now of how to figure out how to
All
inspect
right,
it
go ahead and have a seat, and I will contact our legal advisor.
and find out why it is that it's not allowed to be.
Well, find out what we can do to get you to be able to inspect the
Yeah.
report.
Or find out a reason why they're not releasing it.
Whatever it is.
I'll be here.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Remember, she said she was going to talk to legal to find out what we can do to get you to be able to inspect the report. Now watch her come back and make it clear that that was a lie. All she did was take an hour and a half to restart her mindless script of denial.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Well, I was looking through everything, and I don't see anything in your request, or I'm sorry, anything that I have access to that would allow me to give you anything at this point. Your request is in processing. It will go through the regular process. As soon as it's available to be inspected, we will let you know through your contact email. We'll keep you updated through that. And as soon as it's available, you'll get that information.
Are you saying you just kept me here waiting for an hour and a half to tell me the same exact thing?
That's pretty much it, because I couldn't find any other.
Did you talk to legal? And what did they say? Was it an hour-long conversation?
I was only able to. There isn't anybody here, and they just told me to reiterate what I've already said.
Legal told you to reiterate that it's simply not available. They didn't tell you that you have to give a reason, a legally justifiable reason?
Well, we can give you a reason just as soon as that process goes, as soon as your request goes through the process. We've got it. You put it in yesterday.
Again, that's for the copies, but as far as the separate inspection of the record,
And that's not an immediate thing.
it is supposed to be an immediate thing.
We're not
The records are
interpreting-
supposed to
I
be
can't
immediately
interpret it
available.
like that. I can't interpret it that way.
You can't interpret.
No, because I don't have access to the report, so I can't give it to you because I don't have it.
Public records and other matters in the custody of any officer shall be open to inspection by any person at all times during office hours. That's not open to interpretation. That's
Well, I can't give it to you
why can't you give it to me?
because I
That's what
don't
I'm
have it.
asking.
I don't have access to it.
Why do you not have access to it? Why is it being withheld?
That's what we're gonna find out.
That's
As soon as we
that's
get
what I
that
thought you were
information.
talking to the lawyer about for an hour and a half now. I thought you were finding out why it's not being.
I was looking to see if we had any of that information, and I don't.
You spent an hour and a half looking for the information instead of trying to find out why it's not able to be released.
Well, that was what I was looking for. I'll find out what we can do to get you to be able to inspect the
Yeah.
report.
And you couldn't get a hold of Detective Hernandez or any other person.
I've told you what I can tell you. Anything else is, I don't have any other information for you.
Who is it that's responsible for not allowing me to inspect
We'll
it right
find
now?
that out as soon as we get that information back.
There's somebody, like, that information is available. Somebody put on the paper, this is not ready to be released. This is not allowed to be released, whatever. Somebody has the authority supposedly to put that on there. I want to know who it is that's preventing somebody right
That's not
now.
something
Why?
I don't have it today.
You do have it.
Yeah.
In your records.
Sir, is there anything else I can help you with?
You can help me get what I'm asking
I can't
for.
do that today.
I need to know why it's not
I
being
understand
released.
that, but I can't get it for you today.
Who
Now,
do I,
you're more
what's
than welcome to hang out here.
what's the process of filing a complaint?
I don't actually know.
That's right. The records supervisor does not know the process for filing a complaint on her subordinates or herself. That's how seriously they take our complaints. It would probably get lost for 2 years anyways. They are supposed to be specialists. Instead, they're just special.
You could step to the teleserve.
You don't know what the complaint is for filing, what the procedure is for filing a complaint on a records specialist.
No, you'd have to go over there and do it.
You're the records supervisor. How do you not know the process for how to
I'm
complain
telling
about a
you,
records
it's right
person.
over there. Go to teleserve.
What was your name again?
Liz
Liz what?
Ashcroft.
Ashcroft. And you're the supervisor. Are you the senior supervisor? Are you the only supervisor? Is there
Daytime supervisor.
who's above you?
Teresa Pierce
Teresa
with a K.
Carissa?
Yep.
Carissa Pierce? I assume she's not available to talk to right now.
No.
Why would she be? That would make too much sense. Thank you. This is insane. I'm just upset. I gotta go. I have to leave before I get too upset. Can I just get a, do you have a business card or anything with your information on it?
Hold on.
She can't tell me anything. This lady needs to be fired. This lady does not know her job at all. Very frustrating. Oh man. Thank you. If you have video of something you'd like to see me cover on my channel, or you have a court proceeding or some other government related event that you'd like to see me personally come out and record and disseminate to the public, send an email to jimfreedomcontact@gmail.com. Together, we will command truth and justice by putting our cameras on government and questioning their authority. Until freedom prevails, I am Jim Freedom.